Understanding the origins of reggae is a process of sorting through decades of history, and often it feels like starting from scratch. Relying strictly on mainstream hits provides a surface-level view. It often overlooks the Pan-African consciousness that defines the genre's soul. When we look at artists born in March, we find the people who built the structural foundation of the music. In this month, we find Jackie Mittu's work at Studio One, the brass arrangements of Tommy McCook, and the spiritual roots of Burning Spear. These artists provide the structural anchors for the genre. Without them, the story of how reggae actually evolved remains incomplete. Assembling a March collection presents a challenge. These artists occupy very different musical worlds. The meditative, acoustic roots of the 1960s share a birth month with the high-octane energy of 1990s street dance hall. Navigating the March Almanac requires a framework that accounts for how these tracks actually function in a set. We categorize these artists into 4 groups: Foundation Legends, Golden Era Innovators, Dancehall Firebrands, and the Next Generation. Effective curation means balancing the historical depth of a track with its current energy level to fit your specific audience. We can map these artists across 2 axes: history versus modern evolution, and meditative education versus club energy. We start with the structural architects. Jackie Mittu, Tommy McCook, Don Drummond, and Derek Morgan sit here, focused more on instrumental instruction than the dance floor. Engaging with this group means focusing on early ska and rocksteady, where the groove is driven by technical precision rather than vocal hooks. These brass-heavy sessions reveal the exact moment Jamaican music pivoted from American R&B to an indigenous island sound. This era is educational, but because it lacks a vocal narrative, it can feel distant to listeners who expect the lyrical drive of modern reggae. In the Golden Era, we find the Afrocentric visionaries and mystics. Burning Spear, Lee Scratch Perry, and Ken Booth moved the sound toward complex vocal and dub productions while remaining deeply rooted in the genre's history. This music requires a deep understanding of Pan-African philosophy and the technical risks taken in early dub studios. The result is a deep look into Rastafari consciousness. These artists defined the spiritual and technical boundaries of the culture. This complexity requires active listening. If used as background music, the intricate dub layers and messages are easily lost. By the late 90s, the tone shifts toward the high-energy firebrands. Tony Matterhorn, Mad Cobra, Anthony B., and Queen Africa occupy the top right, the modern, club-oriented space. This era brought aggressive delivery, sound system culture, and faster tempos to the forefront. These artists command attention, managing to deliver social justice messages through the high-energy pulse of a dancehall session. Performance styles became more physical and dynamic, designed to keep a modern crowd engaged for the duration of a set. Placing this high-octane sound immediately after a 1960s instrumental creates a jarring shift that can break the flow of a curated set. The final group consists of the Next Generation and Global Fusion artists. Joe Mersa Marley, Kalissa, Runckus, and Rolly Fresh represent a more balanced, modern approach. The March Almanac is vast, including dozens more artists who continue to contribute to this database across every decade. These newer voices blend their roots with R&B and hip-hop, showing how the culture remains flexible and relevant today. Their work often centers on collaboration and large festival stages, pointing toward a unified future for the sound. These modern catalogs are accessible and fresh, though they haven't yet reached the historical weight of the foundation builders. The most common mistake is grouping every March-born artist into a single chronological list. Jumping from 1960s ska directly into 90s hardcore dancehall makes for a difficult listening experience. This lack of context minimizes the specific contributions and the unique energy of each era. Effective curation is a deliberate choice about what to emphasize. It requires an active investment in the history behind the track. We can navigate this by identifying what the primary objective for the listener is. For history, prioritize the roots. Burning Spear and Jackie Mittu provide the genre's structural foundations. For modern events, Tony Matterhorn and Mad Cobra are built for crowd control. For a conscious vibe, Queen Africa and Joe Mersa Marley bridge history and current grooves. March provided the builders who defined the spiritual and structural boundaries of reggae. Curation requires choosing the era that fits the moment and engaging with the music on its own terms.